After living 10 years in London, I found that Paris has got its flaws, but I love the way it looks, basically. If you're kind of design and visually inclined like I am, it's pretty fulfilling as a city. It's just beautiful. I don't get tired of it. I thought it was a bit of a difficult brief because the structure itself, the wireframe structure, is already looking pretty good. So what can you add to it? You know, I thought it was hard, but a challenging enough prospect to accept it, really. I think the Evoque is what people were kind of expecting when the Range Rover Sport came out. And it's going where the Range Rover Sport didn't dare to go, in a way. Yeah, I think it's more of a step forward than, before, really. And I think it's gonna kind of shock people in some ways, and I think that's good in a way. Having already an existing structure was already quite a constraint. Having to do something around it was hard. And then having on top of that a brief that it had to link to technology was almost too much. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? But in the end, it wasn't that hard to answer, really, because I think cars are by far the most technological day-to-day life object that you can use. You know, nothing's more advanced than a car. Yeah, I've always been fascinated by how people test cars and how, fuel efficiency is not necessarily based on engine technology. It's also based on design and how, the less wind resistant your car is, the most fuel efficient it's going to be. The Evoque, in some ways, seems to keep the essence of what Range Rover is, what a Range Rover can be, but by being much more fuel efficient, by its aerodynamics, really. Also visually, obviously, wind tunnels, I'm fascinated by them. We've been trying with Intersection to shoot a fashion store in a wind tunnel for years. It's extremely hard to get access to them because they're very, very private locations. Car companies hide their wind tunnels. They test cars 24/7, all year round in those places. So it's hard to get access to them. And the pictures you see coming out of wind tunnels are always inspiring because you see those kind of, streaks of smoke going around cars in the most graceful way. And I thought that could be a good starting point to do an installation, really. And, by doing the magazine, we met a lot of designers. We met Jerry McGovern. And, if I have to talk about Range Rover, I'll talk about him. He's a very fascinating character. He's got an amazing modernist house in the Midlands, and he's really proud of it. We went and shot the Evoque out there a few weeks ago for a fashion story. And so he let us have access to his house because he loves the magazine, because he loves our approach to things. And where else could you see that? It's just really such an Intersection thing to do, in a way. So, yeah, Intersection is there to really answer that desire in people's life to read about cars and to talk about cars in a non-geeky, non-techy way, really. It's more about what life you can live with cars.